Okay, okay. So, I was wondering why that music sounded so good. It's because I'm still wearing the Aviats. Okay, alright, give me a second. Yeah. Jeez, I wore those for too long. My ears feel funny. Alright, I promise I'll take the starting screen down in just a second. I just gotta get things oriented. Not fling my head off my fucking head. That would be real tragic. Okay, all right. Blah, 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 blah. Let's just turn that off. Turn that on. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. It's me, that guy, the guy who, I do stuff sometimes. At least once a week. I mean, shit, I played Mecha Break for 4 hours last week. That was awesome. That was actually fucking sweet. And if I do stream again, like I did. I mean, we might play Mecha Break, but we're probably gonna. I'm thinking do at Night Abyss, just because, you know, I love DNA. I love it so much, and we're gonna get the new update soon with two new characters and a bunch of other stuff. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great, and I mean, it's characters that I played with during the beta, so I kind of already have a build idea. The whole no more 4 stars thing kind of makes me question um kind of makes me question the whole, like, how are you going to make these characters distinct from one another and not just copies of each other. But they'll figure it out. They're the developers, they'll figure it out. They had all that time from the beta test to figure it out. From the second beta, I think there was a third one that I didn't get into. Didn't matter. The second was pretty good and, broke my heart. And then we'll see what more heartbreak comes from more story. I'm sure it will hurt me greatly, and I am ready for it. Meaning that, I am hungry for more heartbreak from, the people over at Duet Night Abyss Studios. I think it's Hero Games. I might be wrong about that. Either way, I am ready for more heartbreak. I am ready to be rendered grieving once again. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. I'm gonna see it coming. I'm gonna fucking see it coming, and it's still gonna hurt so bad. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna enjoy every second of it. Not really. I mean, yeah, I still love the game, but fuck, it hurts sometimes. You know, the DNA devs are not afraid to. That was a terrible sound. The DNA devs are not afraid to do death and make it fucking real. They don't cop out like some other developers. Nikkei. Then again, I guess. I guess Shift Up with the most recent anniversary event. I guess they kind of showed that they're not afraid anymore. Yep, which makes me worry. Which makes me worry greatly for some of my favorite characters, as in my favorite women. But I guess if I get my heart broken once again, what it would do? Who cares? Who cares? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It really is fine. Like, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad that story beats have consequences. Now it's good. It's good. It's healthy for storytelling. To show it's not gonna quite work out every time. You might get through it, but at what cost? That cost is gonna be real. You're not gonna be able to undo that. There's not gonna be some like magic thing. Mm. Anyway, so it's like the description says. We're kind of jumping topics here. Holy, yeah, okay. We're kind of jumping topics here, but it's like the description says. We're basically just kind of in the the wait and get through it phase of my recent localized future plans. So we will see. We're just kind of, we're still in the we're still in the kind of like wait and see phase, the ride it out phase. Uh, you know. So we like I said, we will see what comes of we will see what comes of, what happens. I work one more day at pizza unless they call me in today or tomorrow. But functionally, I have had I have had my second to last day. And so, some of the boys are saddened by this revelations. Revelations? Some of the boys are saddened by this revelation, and for others it hasn't quite landed. But that's just how it be. I fucking hate this government. That's just how it be. Maybe we'll get some more. Maybe we'll get some tears, some grieving for my departure on Friday. When I work a 4-hour shift, that's probably not going to be a 4-hour shift. Let's be real. It's going to be long. It's going to be a little long. It's going to be a little longer than that. And then we just move on to what my life was before, and then posit some thoughts. Which, I have been positing some thoughts, and let's talk about them. But let's talk about them after I crack the smoke. So what do we got? What do we got? Fucking wrong thing. What do we got this week? We have the Alec Bradley Prensado. My stash is running rather low, so I'm gonna need to hold off. I'm gonna need to hold off seriously for a little while. Um, once I can get some money together to restock my stash. Oh, right, that's a few seconds behind. Once I get some more money together to restock my stash, I will be doing so. That probably won't be until tax season. I guess I can make my mom happy by buying cigars with my tax money. And this one's a little bit smaller on account of, looking at the previous streams and, considering how the, daily smoke is right there on the screen. I can easily, figure out, okay, what have I had the last 5 weeks, and then, pick something different. I somehow did not pick a Prensado. I even looked through my library of JPEGs and PNGs and did not find a JPEG or a PNG of the Prensado. So I thought, yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough for me. I was going to grab the diesel, but then I thought, no, the diesel's a little too strong. I'll have the diesel another day. I'll have the diesel another day, so that way I can, just in case I need it to massively unwind. With going back to Taco Bell, I am hopefully, yeah, we'll see. Also, Mom, since you're here, happy birthday. We're 3 hours into your birthday. Do you feel older? Do you feel any different, or is it just another year? Anyway, consider so I think I got the schedule that I requested at Taco Bell, which means Mondays and Tuesdays off. Which means, if you will, if everyone will look at their calendars. So if I'm starting Saturday the 20th, then that means I will work Saturday the 20th. I will also work Sunday the 21st. And then if I get Monday and Tuesday off, as per the schedule that I requested, those are the 22nd and the 23rd, right? Following along with me so far? All right, next. Night shift doesn't work on the 24th on account of the store closing early. So I work night shift. I'm not going in. And then Taco Bell is closed Christmas Day, the 25th, which means that I will work for 2 days at Taco Bell and then get 4 days off in a row, which will be absolutely magnificent. Yeah, that's how I've felt for like 20 years. Anyway, so yeah, I'll get 4 days off, and then it's Friday the 26th, Saturday the 27th, and Sunday the 28th, and then another Monday, Tuesday off, and then Wednesday the 31st, New Year's Eve. Uh, Wait a minute. I just realized something. If we rewind a little bit to last year at last year, my last day at Taco Bell was the 31st into the 1st because it's night shift. Couldn't escape from that place for a whole year. I'll be right back. Oh man, that is gonna be really, really funny. That is gonna be really funny to, you know, it's gonna be really funny to say to Donna like, "Hey Donna, remember last year I was right here? What isn't that funny?" Uh, that kind of makes me angry actually. That upsets me just a little bit. That upsets me just a little bit. I got fucked over so bad by this pizza company that that I'm gonna be at Taco Bell again on a New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day. This is such bullshit. Oh, that actually upsets me a little bit. Well, I guess I just need to remind myself that I've been making way more money as a driver than I ever did as an assistant. And this probably boils the piss of, the people in this pizza company who, are mad at me for stupid reasons. So, eh, whatever. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine, I guess. You know, then we just ride out for, then we just ride out for 6 months. And then after that, make a decision. Make a handful of decisions. And then just go forward. Fuck, I can't see a damn thing. That's one thing that I'm really going to like about moving back home is overhead lighting so that I can see and be seen and not because of the light reflecting off of my fucking monitor. Be able to see better where to cut the fucking cigars. I am gonna miss the comfort of my bed for 2.5 months, but I mean, how many days until January, February 28th? That's how many more days we have to wait. Well, plus one. Yeah, because next year isn't one of those. Wait, 74 days. 74 more days until, things may improve. 74 days until things might improve in accordance with my plans. Oh God. All right, I just need to look at the numbers again so I can see how things will improve. Okay. Let me get let me get the handy calculator out. All right. Yeah, I guess. Doesn't particularly make me happy, but yeah, I guess 74 days. 74 days until things improve in such a way that, as I would like. 74 days. And then we can take care of some things. For a few months, and then, you know, yeah, because let's see, what things can we take care of in 3 months? 6, 12, 18. Approximately 1,800. And we can make a dent in some stuff. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So that's the thing, is the waiting. That's the thing. I've been holding this like this whole time. That's the thing, is the waiting. Is just you know, day by day. I'm choosing to live day by day, but good lord, planning for the future fucking sucks. Well, planning for the future where it's just like, all right, well, everything's in motion. Okay. That's yeah, I think everything kind of got put into motion a little bit too quickly. But hey, I guess we can thank my, a little bit of nervousness for that. Uh, I mean, I guess it was a relief that, I managed to secure things quickly, secure things enough. I didn't secure things in a way that I thought was ideal, but I secured things enough. So, you know, yeah, yeah. So now we're stuck in the waiting stage, which I didn't quite plan for, but c'est la vie, I guess. Whatever, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just have to wait. And things will improve, and then once those things improve, then we can you know, start rapidly moving. Yeah. But the waiting is gonna fucking suck. But whatever. I'll just kind of just soak up as much the bed comfort as I can before I lose it from 2.5 months. I don't know. Maybe I'll ship my mom off to her nieces. That'll be that'll be fine. It'll be a nice, lovely vacation for her. And then I can free piss. That's what I'm after. That's what I'm after. I've grown accustomed to doing it here. Mm. No more tea. We're back to the Mountain Dew. I drank all the tea, and I didn't feel like. I realize. I realize I could have brewed some. I could have brewed some hot tea. I haven't done that in a while. It's something I could do. It's something to remember for next time when the setting will change again, but it'll be somewhat familiar. Oh, yeah, this has got quite a tight draw on it. Before we get into game, which today's game will be due at Night Abyss, if I can get to it, we're just going to do a little grinding, just a little bit of grinding, just a little bit of grinding as a treat, you know. Uh, uh, I don't know. I feel. Hmm. I don't feel particularly worn down, but I feel like I should be. Ugh, I just heard the furnace kick on. All right. Ugh. Mm, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I should be just tired, exhausted, and worn down. I kind of relax my shoulders. I relax that spot on the back of my neck. I feel like I should be tired, but I'm not yet. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll get maybe the tiredness, the lethargy will come to me while smoking. And again, the cigars do tend to make me a little tired. The opposite of what they should do, given that nicotine is a stimulant. But, that's just kind of the effect they've had on me. Yeah, baby. That's just kind of the effect that they've always had on me, is, inducing lethargy. Uh, so, let's get into some thoughts that I've been mulling over. And the aforementioned suggestions from others that have coincided with those thoughts. So, it has been suggested to me that I seek a what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Shit. I had it. I had it earlier. Hold on. I just need to remember what word did Aiden use? Because that's what word did he use? Industry. It has been suggested to me that maybe I should seek out an industry change. I mean, considering how hard I've been dicked, I see it. It makes sense to me. This whole food service thing doesn't seem to be working out too well in my favor. And, I've thought about it. I thought, okay, you know what? I'll think about this. Let's think about it. It was initially suggested to me by my mother, and then, I started thinking about it. I brought it up to Aiden, and he said, "Oh, that's not a bad idea, baby. You should really consider that." And I went, of course, I did. I did, transiently consider it. But as I've been sitting here alone with my cigars and occasionally a cheroot, I've actually thought about it and thought I could do a I could do a soulless corporate job and, get paid better money to do that. I could process paperwork on autopilot basically without even really thinking about it just because of, you know, and I once I get into a nice, flow state with work and stuff, it's all good, you know? I wouldn't have to deal with any drama, but at the same time, I also would be depriving myself of dramedy, which, I guess that's a worthy price. Uh, yeah, I've thought about it. You know, maybe I could get a bank job and be a banker. Pretty sure I've mulled that over. That wouldn't be too bad. I could definitely do that. I could definitely be a heartless sociopath and, deal with money. You know, just hound other people because they can't pay for things. I could work some white collar shit. And maybe I should consider some white collar shit. Uh, it might be easier. It's gonna be harder to get in, maybe, probably, but it would be easier, after that point, because then I can just, autopilot it and, be fine and get paid, pretty well. You know, I just have to, navigate that. But I think I know how. I think I know how. There's a couple of agencies back in my hometown that can, kind of handle the process for me. Because I hate job hunting. You know, I hate job hunting. They don't, when it comes to, education on, oh, here's how you put together a resume and all this shit. It's like, okay, well, shorter is better and, make sure that all the information is as relevant as possible. It's like, okay, that's doable enough, I guess. Formatting notwithstanding. You know, Formatting notwithstanding, it's doable. It's fine. It's actually getting these people to call you back for an interview that is troublesome. It's so troublesome. Then again, I suppose nowadays, now, I guess, because I did get a few interviews back during the master's program because I wanted more money, but, uh, you know, I was incredibly restricted due to, well, the master's program. Because Taco Bell doesn't really restrict my schedule over much, given that I work night shift. It's it was the master's program that caused issues, but now I don't have to do that anymore. And so, you know, I can easily make the time to secure and attend interviews. The problem is getting called for interviews. But, then again, I guess I haven't put in any applications for such, for such things since I graduated, you know. Hmm. Yeah. So, might be time for an industry change. The problem that the biggest problem that I encounter with it is I don't want to start working at Taco Bell again and then immediately jump ship because, as stupid as this is going to sound, I don't want to burn that bridge. You know, it seems like Taco Bell is my safety net for employment. You know, it's a place where I know everything I need to know and more, and you know, can just shake off the rust and be, really, really good at it. Uh, and so, I don't want to burn that bridge. But the issue that, comes to my mind then is how long, am I comfortable with working there, that wouldn't be considered burning that bridge? I'm thinking like a year. That it's like, look, as long as I give ample notice and this and that, it should work out. Hopefully. You know, I mean, hell, fucking, I've had other people have, come back there for, with, having given less consideration, towards, bridge burning than I have. People have even returned there given no consideration for bridge burning, which, I guess we could consider a failure of management, but hey, when you need people, and when somebody says, "Hey, I used to work here and you don't have to train me," and you know that for a fact, you kind of overlook some of the things like, no, they didn't give 2 weeks notice, or hey, they're a little temperamental. You know, that brushed right up against my eye. Oh my god, that burns a little bit. But yeah, I think I could I think what I could do is I'll wait out. Hello. I'll wait out until I, don't have to deal with, anything in this town anymore. And then, wait out the whole, you know, moving into an apartment with Aiden thing. And then once that happens, that's when I secure other employment. And then at the end of 26, just basically just let them know, like, hey, December 31st, 2026, that's my last day, baby. Actually, hold on. What day is the 20 is that on this next year? November, December. That's on a Thursday. Okay, well, that's not gonna be my day off, so yeah, I could be like, all right, that's my last day, baby. I've secured white collar work. I don't have to deal with ungrateful factory people throwing a hissy in my window because we don't have hot sauce. That definitely didn't make me want to take a power drill to, the base of my neck to drain some of those fluids. You know, Also definitely didn't, make me consider going down the path everybody in high school thought I was going to go down, you know? But hey, everybody has dark thoughts once in a while when, somebody's having a hissy in front of them for something that you can't control. See, it happens. It's what you do with those dark thoughts. I laugh about them and tell funny stories, to my boys about it. It's great. Seriously though, if any higher up ever like looked at or listened to those cameras, everybody who has ever worked on night shift would not only be fired several dozen times over, but would never be allowed to step foot on that property ever again. So that it's a good thing that the higher ups don't care to look at those cameras unless they're looking for unless they are prompted to look for something specific. So, like I said, real good thing there. Oof. But hey, part of that is because we have fun on night shift. We like to talk about funny things, like how you can tell if an orange has a lot of juice. That's one of the funny things that we would talk about, or that I would talk about to people. It's something that I would tell people. It's a nice, it's a nice little bit of trivia. The aforementioned bit of trivia, about the oranges goes like this. All right. Actually, hold on. I have an object that I can use as a visual medium here. All right. So let's imagine that the big gold D100 is a really, really small orange. All right. So oranges, specifically navel oranges, have they have a belly button looking thingy on them. The navel, as it were. Well, you can tell if an orange, specifically navels, but it works for other types. You can tell if an orange has a lot of juice in it because the navel, or as I typically call it, the butthole, is really kind of like puffy, right? This is just if you're looking at individual oranges, this is how you tell if there's a lot of juice inside of it. I don't know why the orange like grows like that, but that's just what happens in nature. That's just kind of how it is. All right. The funniest part of that, and the part that might get catch some flack from some stiff soulless corpo, is the bit at the end that I always say. That being, you can do the same thing with people. You know. I've told the boys at Pizza about that one. Not the new masters. I should probably tell them that. That's something that they're going to need to know, especially given that they're in upper management. Which that in and of itself is another joke. Holy crap! This thing has a lot of smoke coming off of it with every draw. Hmm. These prensados are, they're box pressed, which a lot of guys have issues with box pressed cigars. Burn issues, that is. I typically do not. I mean, yeah, this one's burning a little bit unevenly, but that's not burning seriously unevenly like I've seen with a lot of guys. Um, I don't know, I don't know what that's about. But these prensados have been incredibly solid all the way around. Um, you know, which I mean, this one in particular, I'll take a draw off it like I did now. You saw how long I blew smoke out. These are I'm not really chuffing it, but whew, it is throwing out a lot of smoke. Um, I'm not complaining about that. I'm kind of just vocalizing an observation. Also, I just now spotted my retainer case. I've been looking for that, and it's been on my desk this whole time. I feel like an idiot. Oh my God. Hmm. But yeah. Right. Not burning the bridge, and finding some white collar work to use to eliminate debts, so that way I can you know uh have more money. So that way I can get a house and go into more debt. Go into more debt. Yay. At least I'll have a house. I was thinking about it today actually, is I'm going to get a house. Let's say, at some point in the future, right, with, if plans, go well, Even if they go decent. Right, I'm gonna get a house. I realize that for a long time I'm probably not gonna have like any furniture, and the most annoying thing is gonna be like telling people no when they're like, I can get you this furniture. It's like, no, no, don't do that. Don't do that. All right, I will decorate my house in accordance with my aesthetics, not someone else's. I don't care that I don't have a couch. All right, I sit in my computer chair at my desk. I don't need a couch. And the argument there is like, well, what about if you have house guests? Like, I don't have house guests. All right, that's what happens when you don't have any friends. Is you don't have house guests. It's fantastic. I need my solitude. But at the same time, human interaction is healthy. Helps stabilize the mind to a certain extent. But fuck, I haven't had a vacation in 10 years, and all of my batteries are just holding out because of my willpower. All right? If I were in a position, if I were in a position to where, I had the money to take an odium, I would be taking an odium. All right, and it would be strict, and it would be the strictest no contact. It would be the strictest no contact. All right, because oh my god, there are there are days there are days where getting through human interaction is just uh, we're getting through human interaction is just difficult. It just makes me want to stab everybody who speaks to me to death. Obviously I haven't done that. That would be a problem. And there are other days where it's easier. But yeah, if I were to take an odium, the strictest no contact, because I want to actually enjoy you know my odium. Ugh. But I don't have the money, and it's just not gonna happen. The best I can hope for is just to work really, really, really hard for the next couple decades, so that way I can retire early, and then have the first part of my retirement be the strictest no contact. And then from there, after that, after all my batteries have kind of have been miraculously restored by maddening solitude, I can return, reborn. Of course, this is probably 30 years in the future, but say la vie, I guess. I still haven't talked to my dad about this whole thing. Shit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Oh, hell. Well, that sounds like a future me problem to deal with. He can deal with that. Future me can deal with that. As in. It's quite leathery. You know. It's a strong leathery flavor, but it is quite leathery. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. It's been a while since I've just had like a straight leathery flavor, or it's been a while since I paid this close attention. Oh, but yeah, we're in the waiting stage, and the thinking ahead, part. I've had a lot of time to think about things. In between episodes of different anime that I've taken up, because I figure I don't sometimes I'm not in the mood to play games, which is fine. And so I've gotten back into watching different anime. It's been it's been a relaxing experience. Also, I have a lot of snacks that I really need to eat, so, anime is the perfect excuse to just sit here and just like eat stuff and uh, you know, just just have a good time. To laugh, to smile. That's something that I've noticed that I do when I watch anime is laugh and smile. It's good. It's good stuff. Uh, I notice that with, the genres, that I've been watching, for some reason I've been kind of like leaning more into like fantasy slice of life, which is, kind of funny considering how it's like, in the past it was like, yeah, give me more Bleach and Berserk and other such shows. I guess that's really only two, but you get what I'm saying. And now it's just like, give me like fantasy slice of life. Maybe there'll be some action. I don't care. I don't care. It's fine. You know. Ooh, got a little greedy there on that one. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of anime, and hey, I got the next 2 days off, so I can sit back, relax, eat the other half of this apple pie with my bare hands, and just enjoy whatever it is I'm gonna end up watching. I'll clear another show. I don't care. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Pretty sure I queued something up. Hold on. I'm gonna double check. What if I got queued up here? Okay, that'll be done pretty quick. I need to finish that. I need to finish that. That's still releasing. I need to finish that. 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 Okay, there's a lot of stuff here I need to finish. Because I'll get started on something and then I'll kind of see something else and go, ooh, give me that. And then, you know, we'll just kind of get a little distracted. It's fine. It's fine. And then I'll finish the thing that I saw. Like, oh hey, I'll watch that, and then I'll finish that, and then the first thing is still sitting in my fucking uh, the first thing is still sitting in my fucking uh, my fucking list. Like, oh hey, remember this? Remember this? You gotta do something about that. You gotta do the next. Oh hell. All right. Well, all right. We're not gonna do this. We're not. I saw something. I saw something, and it's like, no, finish like 2 or 3 shows that you've started before starting something else. Good God. I'll be able to binge watch tomorrow after I get done running a couple of errands. Still have errands. At least I'm not doing a bunch of stuff for the store anymore, which, you know, I guess has freed up some more time for me to watch shows and, have Azure Lane just running in the background so I can keep up on that. My boat women require development. I'm a women's acquisition and development specialist. I've acquired these skills from playing gotcha games. I think I could probably put that on a resume. If I ever need to get into a company with, you know, strong, stupid political values, I can put that on my resume and, you know, fluff up the language a little bit for what I'm actually doing to make it sound like that's a real job. It's like, yeah, let's just not say that I played, Azure Lane for like 4 years. Has it been 4 years? When did I start playing Azure Lane? It was it was right when Alsace released. When did Alsace release? When did Alsace come out in Azure Lane? Because that's going to be around the time that I started playing Azure Lane. When did Azure Lane? When did when did this? During the light of Martyrium. Okay. When did this happen? Oh, wait, that was only a year ago. What? Ain't no way. I've only been playing for about a year? Ah, all right, we're gonna have to Okay, we're gonna have to rethink that one. I'm not gonna be able to say that I worked as a women's acquisition and development specialist for YoStar because that's only a year. What have I been playing longer than Azure Lane? Path to Nowhere? Nikke? I started playing Path to Nowhere and Nikke at roughly the same time. Nikke just did their 3 year. Or was that 3.5? Pretty sure that was 3 year. Because 2 year was, hold on. Because the year one anniversary story was Goddess, and then year two was Old Tales, and then yeah, year three was the Queen. So yeah, I could say for Shift Up, Women's Acquisition and Development Specialist, 3 years, starting in November of 22. Yeah, yeah. I could do this. I could say the same thing for Path to Nowhere, Ice No Games, except I'll say personnel because there are men in Path to Nowhere. So yeah, there we go. I could add those two positions to my resume. Women's acquisition and development specialist for Shift Up and personnel acquisition and development specialist in for Ice No Games. They'd be like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "Well, it's simple. Basically, the personnel needs are relayed to me, and then from there, it is my job to oversee the hiring and training of personnel to meet those needs." They'll go, "Oh, that's great." I'm like, yeah, did that for a little bit. I did that for a little bit remotely, which kind of takes away from some of the effectiveness. But these, you know, Shift Up is located in South Korea, and I didn't exactly move there, so that was a remote position. And then iSnow is located in Taiwan, China, one of those two. And I didn't exactly move there either. So, of course, I wasn't doing that for the for the South Korean and Chinese branches respectively. I was doing those for the English branches. Uh, and if they ask me, oh, well, how did you go about finding these people? It's like, well, obviously these companies have portals that they use to they have candidates submit information through. Naturally, that's the first stop, and then after that, you kind of I kind of just surfed LinkedIn to comb for people with skills, with particular skill sets as determined by the higher ups, and from there would reach out to those who specified that they were looking for employment, and then we'd set up a video interview, and if I felt the candidate was suitable for the position, we would move past the interview towards the hiring process. And if they go, okay, well, that's one half. You said you also oversaw training. Like, yeah, oversaw is probably the best term for that. It was more of a it was really just I would direct specific training personnel, and uh generate reports as to the progress for the candidates that I had previously interviewed, and then report that back to my superior, and in some case superiors, depending on which department I was tasked with recruiting for. I think we'll go personnel over women's. That way we really got it good. And if they ask, oh, well, what methodologies did you use to oversee? It's like, well, really, it was just, weekly meetings with the aforementioned training personnel, to which basic questions were in order. How do you feel about the candidate? Do you believe that they'll last at the company? This and that. How is the training going? Stuff like that. And then from there, just take those answers and take a conversation basically, and format it to a readable report. A quickly readable report. It's easy to just, dress up something like that. When in reality, what am I doing? I'm rolling the gotcha, baby. All right, I need the new sinner, and or boat woman, and or Nike, to for some reason, just I don't know. Alsace was hot, so I rolled for. Also it's like I'm not gonna get the UR, and then I did, and it's like okay, now we're gaming, boys. you know, and then I'll, if they sell, then I don't know, I'll make up some bullshit about the development part. It's like, well, oversee in most cases was essentially what I did, but there would be some cases where I would take a direct role in the development of of personnel towards the being able to accomplish efficiently the responsibilities and expectations of their positions. You know. Ooh, this is something that would only be done occasionally when training personnel were unavailable, and I would do so kind of as a general layman you know, in for all departments as I was instructed in as the most basic training, and so I would kind of just pass that on and sustain that, write my own reports until training personnel became available, until specific training personnel became available, in which case uh the candidate, now employee, would be passed off to them for something much more specialized and much more formalized. Just dress up the language like that. When really what it is I'm letting Azure Lane like run on auto battle while I watch like I don't know, fucking the new season of Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War. It's just that easy, baby. It's just that easy. Well, I mean, I guess being really flowery about it is not necessarily easy. It's also, also if you're being questioned about this in an interview, there is a degree of acting that needs to take place. So, I can put on a decent act if I need to, you know, and you know, make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, even when I'm just straight bullshitting. I can thank my dad's family for that one. If I were to get one of these jobs where I had to play the personnel acquisition and development, you know, card, I would hold on to the secret that it was a lie until my retirement, and then if I gave a retirement speech, be like, well, everybody, it's been a great, I don't know, 25 years. So let me tell you guys let me tell you guys a really funny story that, I think a lot of you might find somewhat humorous. My position as a personnel acquisition and development specialist at, I don't know, fucking Shift Up was entirely fabricated. I played Nikkei and I just played Nikkei. That was I just made the activities that I did in game sound like it was, you know, much more than it actually was. I didn't actually, yes, from a technical standpoint, I did do those things, but if I were to actually include the proper details, then it would immediately become apparent that I was just playing a game, and none of the so-called candidates were actually real people. Oh, that'd be so funny. That would be so funny. It's like, oh, I lied for 25 years in this example. It'd be so fucking funny. It'd be so fucking funny. Because what can they do at that point? I don't think lying on your resume is illegal, right? Hold on, is lying on your resume legal? Hold on. Oh, yeah, is lying on your resume illegal? Um, so, okay, lying on your resume is generally not illegal on its own. However, if I were to falsify documents, or say I have licenses, or if a job, oh, there it is. If a job application includes a disclaimer where you sign and verify that all information provided is true and accurate, lying on that application can be considered a breach of contract or fraud. All right, so we're keeping this to myself after 25 years. Um, you know, right. May count as fraud depending on the context. Got it. So, you know, see, that's the thing, though. Okay, see, that's another thing, right? Lying on your resume might be considered fraud in some cases. However, that is if, that is if you include information on your resume that is, false. In this instance, based on, what I just read on a cursory Google search, a lie of omission doesn't count because if you sign the disclaimer that says, yes, everything here is, accurate. Let's say, for example, that I, submit my resume. I have a master's degree. You know, I also have the prerequisite bachelor's degree. If I say, yes, I have a bachelor's degree, and they don't ask me, oh, is that all? If they just like, okay, cool. If they don't ask me if I have any other education, then this lie of omission, by not telling them that I have a master's degree, isn't a breach of contract because yes, I do have a bachelor's degree, and if there's no follow up if it doesn't say please provide the full list of your education, then you know I could say, oh yeah, I graduated high school. That's education, high school diploma. I technically could do that, and that would not be considered fraud because that is accurate. I do have a high school diploma. My employer might not like that. My employer may not enjoy that, but it is accurate. It is true and accurate that I have a high school diploma. You know, as long as you read carefully, that doesn't say please include all your education. It's just like please include, you know, education. Please include relevant education. Well, if relevant education, okay. If I judge that, my having my having college degrees is not relevant, then that does not constitute fraud because, what I deem relevant is, subject to my judgment. And therefore, you know, and so therefore, my omission of those facts was because I deemed it not relevant. And if they're like, "Oh, why didn't you deem it relevant?" I could probably just point to, something within the job, something within the job description when I, filled out the application. Like, well, based on the position that I had applied for and blah 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 yada yada yada. This is if I take it to court, if I get taken to court about it or some such, then you know, I would have to defend myself there, which it doesn't say list. In that case, we would be banking pretty hard on it saying, oh, list your relevant experience. Well, you don't need to know that I worked. I don't know. You don't need to know that I worked at Taco Bell. So that's I deemed that not relevant for this reason, and so I omitted that from the application. Or if it's like, oh, well, you omitted it from the application, but it was on your resume. It's like, yeah. Why doesn't the resume just autofill most of the application? It's all, why am I being asked, to provide information that's on the resume? Also, you didn't read the resume. So, it's not that I lied or, even It's not that I falsified anything or even lied by omission. The information was there. I submitted it. You just didn't read it. Legality is, can be a fickle thing, but really it's just really it's just a battle of, semantics and, convincing either judge or jury that, of your point as opposed to the other side's point. And this can be done through, it's really, really a courtroom as a debate stage, where, one side is debating that, one party is guilty and the other side is debating that, that same party is not. And, whichever one, whomever is, the better debater, uh, with what they're given, they're the winner. You know, that's how you can get some wild shit in court, like the OJ case and, you know, other famous cases. You know, if the gloves do not fit, you must acquit. Holy shit. And that actually kind of worked. That actually kind of worked. Yeah, anyway, yeah. Anyway, job hunting sucks. Job hunting sucks. Putting together a resume sucks. The whole thing sucks. Getting these people to call you back is, I don't know, it's a mystery to me. All right, I probably need to invest in like, dark magic in order to make it happen consistently, or at all even. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. This really does just. I don't know. I think the way this is a really good cigar in terms of construction. I'm having no problems with it. I thought the resistance was a little tough when I was doing a cold draw earlier. Because but it is exceptionally well made, and it seems to be packed. It seems to have a superior, packing to it, to where each draw doesn't take too much off of it, but produces quite a lot of smoke. Which is, you know, quite nice. Quite nice. Oh, Lord. We might not actually get to game today. In which case, I'll probably just do like a Thursday stream where it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to stream Duet Night Abyss until Aiden gets off work. And then we're going to play something. Hopefully Battlefront 2. I'm really hoping for Battlefront 2. I want to play some Battlefront 2. You know, that seems like it'll be a lot of fun. I haven't played Battlefront 2 in a while. I really want to. I might just play a little bit by my. Do I have Battlefront? Do I even have it installed? Star Wars Battlefront 2. I do have Battlefront 2 installed. I might play a little Battlefront 2 by myself. We'll see. We will see. Furnace just kicked on again. Hmm. But anyway, we're playing the waiting game, and for 74 more days, and we just just have to hold out. That's not gonna be too bad, I don't think. You know, the bill. The bills will get paid. It's fine. Oh, I just remembered something. Oh shit, I just remembered something. Hold on. I gotta. Speaking of bills that need paid, I gotta pay one real quick. Fuck. Fuck. Okay. Woo. Okay, come on. And okay, we did it. All right. Woo. All right. Ooh, kind of waited on that one. Kind of waited a bit. Got real close on that one, huh? Ooh. Mm. kind of got real close on that one. Ooh, yeah, okay. We're fine. We're good. We got that we got that paid. Woo, shit. Ooh, that was something. Shit, that was something. All right, we're good. We're good. We're fine. We're so fine. It's fine. I got it paid. We're not going to experience any kind of, disruptions or anything. So, we are good. Yeah, all right. That could have fucking sucked. Ugh. Oof. Got real close on that one. Oopsie. Well, hey, it's fine. It got paid, technically on the day, but it got paid. So, there should be no issues. Holy fuck. I really need to I don't know, I need to maybe put some reminders in my calendar or something. Hey, dipshit, remember to pay this, you know? Oh, 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 oh. That was something. Just gonna do a quick email check to make sure I didn't actually forget anything else. Just real fast. Just real. Um. Okay, whatever. All right. Fucking Apocalypse is still emailing me like, "Hey, remember me?" It's like, "Yeah, I already got everything I needed from you. I already got everything I needed from you. I don't need any more." Ugh. Apocalypse is one of those games where it's like, look, alright, you're either gonna be on the hard grind to get nothing, or you're gonna dump your entire wallet out. Thank God I didn't Thank God I didn't. I think I only bought the like thingy that gives you extra stamina, and even then, that's not that useful. But I guess the 10% stat boost was real fucking nice back when I played it, and it didn't. I played Apocalypse for like 100 hours, so that $10 that was like 10 cents per hour. That was great. It was a fantastic investment. You know, technically, if you look at it from that way, which, hey, if I'm gonna spend money on a game, you know, I choose, usually what I consider a good ratio is $1 per hour. Some of these games deliver in spades. I'm looking at you, Dragon Quests 11, and I guess Dragon Quest 9 and 8 and 6 and 5 and 4. I haven't played 1, 2, well, I did play Dragon Quest 1, but I had to emulate it. No, I didn't emulate it. I got a translated EXE of the old game that had been, kind of repackaged to run on Windows. So that's how I played Dragon Quest 1. I didn't play 2 or 3, and I haven't played Dragon Quest 7. I also haven't played Dragon Quest 10. But Dragon Quest 10 is an MMO, and it's Japanese exclusive, and I can't read Japanese. So that one's probably going to continue to be a no-go. Which means that if we get a Dragon Quest 9 remake, please God, please, I want that so bad. And they introduce legacy bosses from the games that came after Dragon Quest 9, or fuck, let us just like give us like palette swap stronger Corvus. That'd be cool. That'd be so fucking badass. Anyway, they did that, then the Dragon Quest 10 boss I'd be able to pick out right away because I recognize all the other bosses. Like, oh, that's Orgodamir. He's from Dragon Quest 7. I know that because I didn't play that game. It's like, oh, hey, look, it's Dragon Lord. He's from Dragon Quest 1. I know that because I played that game. There's Dulmagus. I remember him. He's from Dragon Quest 8. Whatever. Any bosses I don't recognize and be like, oh, yeah, that one's from Dragon Quest 10. Because I did enough research to be like, oh, Malroth, he's from Dragon Quest 2. Got it. Got it. You know. But Dragon Quest 10, I don't know. I don't know shit about it. I don't know shit about it. God, I hope Dragon Quest 12 is good. Dragon Quest 12 is if Dragon Quest 12 comes out and it is exactly as good as Dragon Quest 11, that's that'll be worth the price. That'll be worth full price. I'm not gonna pay full price, but it'll be worth full price. That's like 150 hours. For $70 at which is full price. Actually, wait, it's 80 now, isn't it? How much does it? How much do games cost now? It's probably too much, which is why I don't pay full price for games. I wait. I don't buy games when they come out anymore. I think the last game I bought when it came out was Dragon Quest 11, and that was because it's Dragon Quest 11. All right, there's. I'm gonna get Dragon Quest 11. I got Dragon Quest 11 when it came out back when I was in college, and I played nothing else for how many hours? How many hours did I put in Dragon Quest 11? How many hours? 105 hours in Dragon Quest 11. And I still got a couple more things to do. So we're going to be going back into Dragon Quest 11 so that way we can get, Dragon Quest 11. That way I can get all the achievements and say, all right, I did it. I completed Dragon Quest 11. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And then that'll be a whole thing. And it's not gonna take that long. Wait, which achievements do I not have? Let's see. The casino one, the crossbow one, the puff puff one, and the cow one, and the appearance altering equipment one. Okay, I could probably do that. It's probably not gonna take too long. The casino one I think is gonna be the biggest time sink, but I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure I'll just get the casino one by just playing at the casino. What? It's gonna take what, like 5 hours for this whole thing? 111 hours, 110 hours. I'm an idiot. 110 hours for I think I paid $60. That's almost we're getting close to like 50 cents an hour. This shit is cash. Oh, do I have the definitive? Wait a minute. They came out with a different version. Dragon Quest. Yep, there's the definitive edition. Okay, that's gonna be another 110 hours. I didn't get this for free. I bought this. I had to have bought this like an idiot. Yep. Wait, that was $40? Holy shit, that's really gonna be worth the money. Holy shit. And I think there's more content in the definitive edition. So, there's that. It's gonna be more than 110 hours, methinks. Still, worth it. Worth it. I also have to play Dragon Quest Heroes because I love hack and slash games. That's why I have that's why I have that's why I have Fate Extella that's why I've got Fate Extella Link as as a game that I own because I like hack and slash. It's cool. It's fun. It's fun to just destroy enemies. All right, it's fun to destroy. It is fun to destroy legions of enemies with Berserker Lancelot because fuck, Fate Zero was my first foray into Fate, and he was my favorite character. He just looks so awesome. He's just so awesome. He's just so awesome. After getting to know Gilgamesh better, him, fucking with Gilgamesh is so much funnier. Motherfucker takes control of a jet to fuck with Gilgamesh. That is hilarious. It is also really awesome. It's also just so cool. That's why when he was the first 4-star that I got. No, he was the second 4-star that I got in Fate Grand Order. I was ecstatic. It's like, yeah, that's my guy. And then he turned out to be like the best farmer in the game. It's like, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. I, Berserker Lancelot was my guy for a while, and they're like, oh hey, by the way, Quick is bad. It's like, oh shit. And then they're like, oh hey, Scotty is out, and Quick is no longer bad. Well, it's still, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And then his Strengthen came out. I'm looking at the wiki page. His Strengthen came out, and then Mana Reversal just made him so much fucking better. Crit damage, MP gain. Ooh yeah, baby. Good shit. I haven't done. I haven't done anything for. Wait a minute. Reduction. Oh my god. I didn't do the append skills thing because I stopped playing the game before then. But holy shit, those append skills are one of those. That fifth one is fucking crazy, dude. Holy shit. Reduce skill cooldown by 3. That's 100% uptime on his third skill, and his second skill, and his first skill. Oh my god, if you can keep the star generation up, he's just going to be critting, and it's going to be the best thing ever. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's fucking great. That is so fucking great. Um, you know, it's my guy though. And then I got Saber Lancelot, and it's like, okay, arts crits, which means that you can spam NP. That is, that's awesome. And not that it mattered much because I had other teams that utilized arts, but it was still cool. It was still cool to do. Um, you know, but yeah, Berserker Lancelot's my fucking dude. He's my fucking dude. All right, he's the best. He's the best. He'll always be the best. He'll always be the best to me. All right, I rolled for Scotty because of him, and I got Scotty for him, so I could do double Scotty, just clear waves to just clean the story. I mean, he doesn't do so great in boss fights because single target, but, all the other tedious crap leading up to the boss fights, he was cleaning house. Pretty sure he even does that in the Lost Belts. I'm pretty sure I was getting away with that in the Lost Belts because I'm a fucking savage. Back when I played FGO. I still haven't said goodbye to FGO. I'm still holding on to it technically. It's still installed on my phone. Letting go of that's gonna be hard. Which is hence why I haven't fucking done it yet. I mean, hell, Fate Grand Order was the second game that I installed on my iPhone. My first ever smartphone was an iPhone 6S, and the second game I installed on it was Fate Grand Order. The first was Battle Cats, because I saw that in high school. Saw people playing Battle Cats, and I thought, yeah, that seems all right. And then I stopped playing Battle Cats and devoted myself to Fate Grand Order. See, I started playing Fate right before London came out on, I think it was the original Jack banner. Yeah, that sounds about right. It was right. Yeah, it was before London came out because I remember London coming out on EN, and I remember everything else coming out. I remember when the final Singularity came out. Holy shit, that was amazing. The first arc was just a great set of stories. It was fantastic. I loved it. You know, I remember I remember hard running through through Babylon. I remember hard running through Babylon because it's like, oh my god, this is awesome. This is awesome. You know, and then I fucking had to burn my command seals. on like the last fight because I was going too fast. I didn't like farm up, like I didn't make my servant strong enough yet. So I had to burn my all of my command seals on the last fight. And I was like, fuck. It was the first time I ever had to do that. I was like, I don't even know what the command seals do. I never opened that menu, and then it popped up. I was like, oh, that's what they're for. It's like, do I like use these and they're gone? And then I found out they regenerate, and I was like, oh, okay. So it's just like a, you know, it's just another resource that I can use. One that's kind of time based. Okay. I figured that out. It was great. And then the anime came out. The anime came out after I stopped playing. I watched the fuck out of that anime every week. Every week I was right there. Every week I was right there. Wait, I was excited for those episodes because like, look, all right, I know what's gonna fucking happen. I know what's gonna happen, and I'm fine with that. But I want to see it happen. I want to hear it happen. And oh my god, it was fantastic. I loved it. I loved it. And then I rewatched it when the dub came out. Those I didn't watch it weekly as the dub came out. I binged it when the dub came out. And good lord, the English VA they chose for Tiamat, not having to read the subtitles and just sit there with that scene with her. The one scene, I'm not, the one scene. There's one scene with her where it's like, oh, it hurt. It hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. Oh my god. I remember it was I remember sitting there binging through it. Oh, it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. Oh, but I loved it. Good night, mother. It hurt me. I mean, it hurt me in Japanese, and then, it hurt me again in English. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've seen the particular part that I'm talking about in isolation, and it still hurts. It still hurts. It's still so upsetting. But god, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. I love it. I was really tempted to pick up Fate Grand Order again when I saw that Tiamat had come out on JP. I was like, I was sitting there like, oh fuck, I gotta wait like 2 years. I can farm up enough Saint Quartz to guarantee her in 2 years. I can do that. And then I thought, but I don't want to play FGO. I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I mean, occasionally I'm still tempted, but it's like, no, I don't want to play FGO. It's a game that it's been out for a long time, you know, and it really shows its age. It really shows its age. I guess I've been kind of spoiled by like auto battling and like Nikkei and Seven Nights 2 and Seven Nights 1 and stuff. So it's like I really don't want to sit down and like like farm, day after day and like go through the fucking tedious nodes in the story. Sitting down and going through a story is no problem. I can do that just fine. It's just it's just the farming. It's just the fucking farming. Maybe it has, some updated features. Now here I am thinking about fucking activating FGO on my fucking on my fucking thing here where it's just like, all right, okay, we're gonna do this. What's going on in JP, or what's going on uh in EN right now? Okay, we got some welfare, we got some limited servants, we got, where is Tiamat out in uh Is Tiamat out in EN? That would be something. Available during special summoning campaigns. Right. Okay, is she out in EN? I don't remember how to tell. Is she out in EN now? Let's see. FGO collaboration pre-release campaign. She was available for this. Campaign duration. Oh, fuck, she is, isn't she? Oh, fuck, she is, isn't she? Oh, fuck, she is, isn't she? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, the temptation's there. The temptation is so there. Wait, hold on. This is JST. Am I an idiot? Hold on. New strengthening quests. Uh, okay. New strengthening quest. Wait, King Hassan got a fucking strength. Why did you give him a strengthening? Holy shit. Hold on. Kill resistance down. Hold on. Does he have this? Hold on. Evening Bell EX. Wait. Oh, Evening Bell returned to. Wait, hold on. Was this his second strengthening, or this was the second one? They gave him two? I remember the first one, but I don't remember the second. Oh, Christ. Oh, oh, Christ. Yeah, it's probably. He's probably. Yeah, no, she's probably out. She is probably out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. No, Tiamat is probably out in FGO EN, and I'm gonna be. Oh my god. Also, I'm the only one I know who played FGO who still has their original account. I'm pretty sure Dave went through like 3 accounts. It's like, good lord, Dave, come on, back up your shit. But Tiamat's probably out in EN. I'm gonna fucking boot up that goddamn game after this stream and be like, I need to know. I just need to know. I'm not gonna play the game. I just need to know. I'll play a little bit, just a little, bit, just to see. Just I think I remember where the servant archive is, so I can see if she's out. We have alter egos. I have alter egos. I got like the first 3 of them when their banners came out. It was like, ooh, new class, and then Meltrellis was quick, and I thought, oh, fuck. And then I remembered I have Scotty, and I went, oh, wait. And then, I also got better at the game. I figured stuff out. It's like, okay, so card stuff makes sense. If they upgraded the card system, shit, I don't know that. Okay, I vaguely know that. I don't quite understand it because fucking I stopped watching Hanako Green. Hold on, is he still making shit? Hold on, I have time to look at that. Is Hanako Green still making shit? Alright, what do we got? Is he still making... 11 days ago, he made something. Okay, yeah, no, he's still making stuff. I just haven't watched a Hanako Green video in years. In years. It's been a few years since I've, looked at, Hanako Green. Okay. Alright. I see. Well, I guess that's just gonna be something that I look at. They buffed. Oh, they buffed more. They buffed fucking Mordred. Are you fucking joking? Hold on, hold on. The fucking Tiamat animation showcase and Noble Phantasm. We're gonna find out if this is in English, and if it is, I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be. Okay, that's not in English. That is in Japanese, which means. Yeah, we might be. Yeah, might be, yeah. All right, so it's possible Tiamat is out on FGOEN. Oh, my jaw. That was a loud pop. That hurt. That hurt. That was right in my ear, too. That was loud to me. Mm, mm, mm. It sucked. But, shit. Tiamat might be out. And I might have to cope with that. Uh, I was gonna get King Pro, but I did get King Protea because it was like, oh, fucking Tiamat is an alter ego. This is the best we could hope for. And then, the developers like, ah, ha, 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 you thought this, King Protea was merely a trap for your quartz. We're going to release the real thing. And then they did. And it's fuck. Again, the temptation to play the game again. And then I was like, no, I don't want to play that game. I just want Tiamat. Ugh. Hmm. Got a little greedy on that one. No, not really. I'm taking normal draws. It's just this is producing so much smoke. I'm not complaining. I'm more just criticizing myself. Oh man, I'm gonna boot up FGO after stream just to see. I have to know. I have to know. I realize they're gonna be like, oh hey, welcome back. It's been years. Here's a bunch of rewards, and then I'm gonna be like, well, fuck. It's also December, which means the GSSR is around the corner, and if it's not already out, they're gonna be putting that in my fucking face. And it's like, ah, well, lucky for you, I've beaten my gambling addiction and don't have the money for this. Nice try, lasagna. It's not gonna work on me this time. Genshin Impact has fucked me so bad on that that I'll never trust a gotcha again. The most you'll get out of me is like a couple bucks here and there, and that's a maybe. I think I've only spent like $5 on Snowbreak. Nice try. And what other gotcha? Fuck, I don't think I haven't spent any money on Azure Lane. No, I got the contract. I got the contract once. That's like $5. Let's see, Nikkei. I spent money on Nikkei. No, I don't think I have. So there's that. And then I haven't spent any money on DNA, but DNA is, I'm buying cosmetics at that rate, which I don't really have a use for because I mean, the cosmetics look awesome as hell, don't get me wrong. But you know, the regular weapons also look really cool, so I don't really feel the need at all, which sounds like me being, kind of miserly, but I mean, shit, the game is just really oriented to like grind for it. Fuck you. And it's like, oh no, 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 you don't understand. I used to play Warframe. You telling me to grind for it is exactly what I want to hear. I put my whole face on the grindstone, not just my nose. I'll grind my whole fucking face off. All right. Back in college, I pulled 6-hour shifts in Warframe, minimum, and it was like every day. Nice try, DNA. Nice try, DNA. The only reason why I haven't maxed out fucking everything in DNA is because I'm holding back. Is because I'm holding back so much. Because I just love the game so much. It took me forever to get Psyche in DNA because, you know, I was leveling other characters and weapons and kind of got distracted for the commission rotation. And then for a while was just like, oh, I don't want to do any of these commissions. And then would just level up other characters and weapons and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, fuck. I've almost figured out the loop though for DNA. Almost figured it out. Once I figure out the loop, I can, I can. Once I figure out the rotation, I can just crank shit out. Because let me think. Okay, the rotation is probably some. Let me think. Let me just think out loud for a second here. I'm gonna rest my hand on the ashtray. Okay, the rotation is. If I were to do the rotation, it'd probably be something like get the weapon components with the blueprint, and then grind the commission materials. Which in this case, you need rocks and sand, and both of those things need defense coins and money. You need so much fucking money. So you complete the blueprint first, then get the materials. I mean, I guess you could get the materials first and then complete the blueprint, but I prefer to complete the blueprint first, just because commission rotations aren't always consistent. At least insofar as I've observed. I could be wrong about that. And then, okay, so complete the blueprint. This is getting all the weapon components and the main blueprint itself. Then you need to grind for the actual material components in order to get the bullets or the oil. And then in order to get the bullets and the oil, you need rocks and you need sand. In order to make rocks and sand, you need coins from the defense mission type. So what you do is you grind that up, you grind up the defense mission type to get the coins, and then you get a bunch of those together, and you make the rocks and the sand. While the rocks and the sand are forging, because you're going to be forging multiple at a time, which is going to extend the timer, you farm money. And then by the time you have like 300,000 money, you should be able to make enough rocks and sand to make the bullets or the oil for the weapon. And then you spend 280,000 to make the weapon using the blueprint, the weapon pieces, and the rocks or the bullets or the oil, depending on if it's a melee or ranged weapon. And then you start over again, either with a new weapon or with the same weapon for smelting. And then you just keep doing that forever. And it's great. Because, with every smelt, you do feel the difference. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. I like it a lot. I do enjoy it a lot. And as you do the smelting, and as you acquire new weapons and new characters, you're increasing trial rank. And as you increase trial rank, that unlocks more shit for you to grind out, which means more ways to increase trial rank. Most of it's just like demon wedges and I mean most of the trial grinding that I've done is just like demon wedges and shit, because you need at least one of every demon wedge to get all the trial XP out of that, and then some of them you can equip more than one if you get them, but those are like the higher level ones that I've only kind of sort of touched. I need more carmine globules. Man, tomorrow and the day after, I'm probably just gonna hit DNA really hard, and maybe some mecha break here and there in between, taking big snack breaks to watch anime and eat snacks, and meals, of course. Ugh, DNA is so much fun. It's so much fun. The combat looks really good. It feels really good. They managed to make guns and melee weapons feel about the same in terms of power, which is something Warframe just can't fucking understand. I mean, maybe they fixed that since I stopped playing Warframe. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna. I don't want to play Warframe again. Then again, I guess I am kind of playing Warframe. Uh, I guess I would be kind of. I guess I am kind of playing Warframe as, by playing uh DNA, but whatever. I guess. It's whatever. I just gotta not think about it too much, because then the cognitive dissonance. I don't want to play Warframe. Warframe sucks now. Well, Warframe sucked when I quit. That's why I quit, because it sucked, and because I didn't have as much time. But mostly it sucked. Getting back into it is probably impossible now, because it probably added a bunch of shit without bothering to like fix the problems. Thanks, DE. That's great. Hero Prime is out though, and I was tempted to go back for Hero Prime, because I was the only person I knew who could play Harrow well. I was also the only person I knew who played Harrow. It's not that hard, guys. Just shoot accurately and, know how the enemy spawns work so you can cluster them effectively. It's not that fucking hard. Oh, but I mean, I guess that was me and the guys when we were younger. Hmm. I'm older now. I'm wizened, as evidenced by my, increased amount of facial hair and bitterness towards the world. Ugh. I don't want to play Warframe again. The only reason I would pick up Warframe again is to just get the rest of the Steam achievements, so I could just put it down forever. Like, okay, we're done. I did it. No more Warframe ever again. You know, I don't even know what the hell's happened in Warframe. Not that I want to know. I mean, I guess I kind of want to know because the lore is kind of cool, but I can figure it out. I could watch like a Stallard D video about it or something. Actually, speaking of watching videos, we're gonna depart from what I was just ranting about to rant about something new. I hate the new feature that YouTube has where a bunch of random people that I don't want, whose content I don't want to watch, keep appearing in my feed because they're like, oh, hey, this person supposedly made a video with somebody that you're subscribed to. I hate that. I hate that. It's like I don't care who this person is. I don't care that they made content with somebody that I'm subscribed to. I'm not watching their fucking content. I'm not subscribed to them. Get this shit out of my fucking feed. But everything just seems to be on a perpetual downward spiral. Fucking damn near. It sucks. Everything sucks. That's why I'm making VTC, because everything sucks, and I'm going to make something that doesn't. And I'm working on it. I didn't fully realize how monstrous of a task that would be. And I continue to realize every time I get something done, and then, like, I see 4 more things that need done. And this just keeps happening. I'll get something done, it's like, cool, I got something done, that feels great, and then 4 more things, adjacent to that thing that I just got done are there. It's like, all right, cool, thank you, great. I'll just add it to my to-do list. Oh. Ugh. Hell. Well, I'll get it done eventually. Because if there are not infinite tasks to be accomplished in relation to this project, which means they will eventually deplete. And when they do, it's probably gonna feel great, or I'm gonna feel lost. Cause like, what do I work on now? I'll work on, I don't know, the fucking successors worlds. Make games out of those, I guess. Maybe, maybe. Ugh. Oh Christ. Maybe. Do some experimental stuff with them, I guess. Figure out, like, okay, let's try different mechanics here that we can't do with VTC. Maybe. I'll think about it. I've got a couple of ideas, but I need to let them stew. I need to focus on the project in my hands rather than the projects of the future. Speaking of projects in my hands, I need to finish the ISD in Space Engineers. God, that thing is fucking monstrous. I don't know, maybe if I get to take that odium, or even just a regular vacation, I can put my face to that grindstone. Like, alright, I'm gonna finish the ISD. Hopefully. Before devoting myself to the next insane mega project. Yeah, that'll be awesome. It's still kind of snowy outside, but it's warming up, so all that crap on the road is starting to melt off. Which is great, because the road clearing guys didn't do a good job here. So I've been slipping and sliding in my company delivery car. It's been great. It's been fantastic. I love that. Ugh. Won't have to do that for much longer, I guess, which is a good and bad thing, because I really do really have enjoyed working for pizza, mostly. It's just all the other crap that I have not enjoyed. Like getting backstabbed and shafted. Shafted hard. The whole shaft. I've taken the whole shaft. And I'm still actually not, because I got backstabbed, I'm kind of thriving, which is a really weird way of, kind of coping with that whole thing. It's like, well, I feel all right. Damn, I have smoked this down, haven't I? I've really smoked this down. I don't think I lost rhythm once. I don't think I had to relight this at all. I think that's a first for this stream. For this long running series on the channel. I think this is the longest running series on the channel. My smoking streams that kind of just double as a journal that I occasionally go back to. It's like, what did I say this time? Of course, it doesn't help that the titles are, don't give me any fucking clue what I'm talking about most of the time, because I usually get distracted and talk about something else entirely. I don't know. There's some times where it's like, okay, no, I get it. I get why I called it that. I'm gonna understand why I called this one what I did, calm and collected, because I'm, for the most part, calm and collected. I'm ready to, I'm just, you know, finding some serenity in the waiting. Waiting out the hard part, the struggle part. And then after that, we should be okay. Which, speaking of that, I'm going to have to send a couple of text messages tomorrow to get an update on some other things that are in the works. We'll see about it. We'll see about it. But whatever. We're in the struggle part now, and we've got 74 more days of that. And then after that, there'll be some peace and serenity. Then about 3 months after that, there'll be some more upheaval and change. All right, so the smoke is done. The smoke is done. Like, I can't burn it down anymore without burning my fingers or my face. So, I guess we kind of just rambled away. No game this time, so which means we'll have some DNA time on Thursday or something before Aiden gets off work and we play Battlefront 2. So, I guess thank you all for, sitting with me and listening to me rant about various topics, and I will see you all next time. Later.